Hey guys, it's me, Phil from Alec Games. It's that time again to make ourselves a simple RPG. For those of you that are new here, we are using RPGMaker MV to make a simple RPG. This is acting as a tutorial of sorts for those that want to learn how to make an RPG in RPG Maker. And it's an opportunity for me to try and grow my community, because if you follow and if you fill out the Google form, you can have your own NPC in this game. And this game will be released on itch. And if this goes well and I feel like it, we're going to make an HD version of the game, or like a remake with custom graphics, all that kind of stuff. And we're gonna sell it on Steam. So yeah, you could immortalize yourself in a game. Yeah, last week we we were we were we were building our stats. So I created a stat sheet in just in Google Sheets. You can use, whatever spreadsheet software you want. You don't even have to use a spreadsheet. If you really want to torture yourself, you can type it up in Notepad. But, it's a good idea to map out the kind of stats you want for your characters, for your enemies. This hasn't been tweaked yet, but yeah. We built these stat tables and we plugged them into the game. And to make things simple for myself, because again, this is a simple RPG, we've only bothered with creating stats for the first 10 levels, because your characters are only going to level up to level 10. So it's not going to be a particularly long, I mean, it might end up being a bit long. I think what would be cool, how long would it take? So let's say it takes you, what, an hour, half an hour to beat each temple, and then so that's 3 temples, and then the final temple. So yeah, about 4 or 5 hours to play the game. I think that's pretty good, especially for an RPG. Normally they're a real slog. 80-hour type stuff. But this is going to be a brief and hopefully fun experience. A million hours. I mean, it is up to the player. You could just play the game every day for 12 hours a day and just not finish the game. I mean, it would be boring because you'd eventually hit level 10, and you would find all the armor and everything. But it's possible, trailer, and I hope that you're the one that plays it for a million hours. And if you play it for a million hours, I will give you some more bonus points. So yeah, I'm always trying to think of what we're going to cover next, because we plugged in our stats. We created a single enemy. No, we created 4 enemies, but we didn't input their stats, right? We just input the stats for one, and we kind of tested it out. And in doing that, I realized the formula for the skills was not working very well, because you were doing like 0 damage. Like, you were receiving 0 damage and you were dealing 0 damage. Oh, there we go. That's something we can do. While oh, did I already do it? I can't remember. I'm reducing all the... No, I haven't done it. Some boring stuff, but this is stuff that, if you want your game to have a little more polish, and if maybe you're stuck between things that you're working on and you just want a little bit of a distraction, but something that will still help build your game. Millionaires is 114 years. Well, I, I better release this game quickly then. I mean, you know, who knows? In 50 years, with the way AI is going and all that stuff, we could have the technology to keep ourselves alive for a very long time. You know, if we haven't destroyed ourselves and the planet. But yeah, so a little distraction for you is and something that's kind of necessary. I still am figuring this out because so there's controls within the game to control the audio, right? But you still can individually control the audio for, you know, everything in the game. You know, I want my battle music to be not as loud. So it's not obnoxious, right? So I put it at 10%, but it, yeah, I don't know how it works because this is playing at 10%, but then there's the options panel in the game where the volume is set to 100%. So 100%, 10% at 100%, and you know what I mean? Like, is, you don't know what I mean. I don't know what I'm talking about either. I'm a bit tired, guys, I must say. I've been staying up editing and doing things, so I definitely want to get a good night's sleep tonight. But so we can go through and, you know, maybe we just make everything 30%. 30% is pretty good, right? Nope, not 103. 30%. 30%. 30%. 30%. So you go through. Now, the problem is, right, like this, there's not a whole lot that we have to change here, right? To just get all the sound effects, system sound effects at a decent level. Also, how is it, like, Trailer, are you watching this on your computer or are you watching this on a phone? Like, how do you view this? Because I realize that, like, I'm looking, you know, I always have my stream open on my phone just so I can make sure nothing's going wrong. And, you know, it's very small. Computer today, phone last stream. Okay. Because the you know, these menus and stuff aren't very conducive to a phone screen. You know, can you really see what I'm doing? You know, this menuing stuff. Okay, so that's done. Let's apply, save, jump back in. Remember that, guys. Always save regularly. You know, stop what you're doing, hit apply, or okay, save, and jump back into what you're doing so you don't lose your progress. So the big problem is that all of these animations, right? I'll demonstrate. Listen to this. Okay, that wasn't that loud. But I mean, it's kind of loud. The sound effects, the animations, all the sound effects in them, you know, have sound effects applied, and they're all at 90%. So in one of my games, because it was so annoying testing the game and having attacks go off and just it being very loud, I went through like all 120 animations and reduced the sound, the level of every sound. It was yeah, took ages, but it was kind of worth it. So, because yeah, look, let's do a test battle. Hey guys, if you haven't noticed, oh, see, it's still kind of loud, and it's at 30%, right? The death count already. Thank you, trailer. See, so we've got these attacks. So this is the volume. Yeah, it's not too bad. But it's still kind of loud. Ooh. Get the death counter ready, but not for me. Coolies. Nice. Okay, so that actually wasn't that bad. But I guess when I've got my headphones up to full, yeah, it's just very like it gets really annoying. But that actually wasn't that bad. So again, if you want a little distraction, you can go through and manually change everything. But then again, if it's annoying for players, excuse me. Yeah, if it's annoying for players, then they can go to the options, turn everything down. Maybe that's why it's not as loud, because in the playtest I've turned it down. See, whereas if this is 100%, right, and we get into a battle, yeah, see, that's loud. Piece of life to the mage. Ooh. Yeah. Beauteous. Yeah, let's and save our game too. All right. Where is Coco, man? What's something else we can do that isn't major? All right. Well, let's finish plugging in the stats for our monsters, so we can have more monsters in the game. So we've got our mage, 75 HP. How much MP? 20. Did I give MP? Yeah. Oops. He's holding up the stream. Yeah. This is sabotage. Attack 10, defense 10, 15, 15, 5, 10. Yeah, so, you know, the handy little tips, shortcuts, you can just tab through these stats to do them quicker instead of individually clicking on each one. So definitely make sure to give that a go. Make things easier for you. So we got our mage, we got our knight. Where's our knight stats? Whoa. Oh, I need to do this. Our knight stats. 100 HP, 10 MP, 15, 15. So something to consider, because you might be like, well, yeah, this is something to consider. So if you are creating attacks skills for your enemies, right? And you assign, and you might decide, oh, I don't want to assign an MP cost to any of the enemy skills because they don't, because I don't want to have to set MP for them. And so you might go, oh, well, I'll make all the enemies have 0 MP. If you have an ability in your game, say for your mage character, like a sorcerer character, that they can attack the enemy and drain MP from them, if they've got 0 MP, you're not going to drain anything. So it'll be a useless skill. So, make sure, to put in the MP stats for, if you're going to have something like that, make sure you assign MP. Also, it will determine whether or not enemies will use skills. Because if they don't have the MP to use the skill because you've assigned a certain MP amount to it, then they won't use that skill. So it is a way to sort of balance encounters as well, because if you make all of the enemy skills 0 MP or use up no resources, then they might just spam their most powerful attacks all the time. Although they won't. We'll get into setting up their action patterns eventually. So all right, so we're going through 10 MP, 15 attack, 15 defense, 10 magic attack, 10 magic defense, 10 agility, 10 luck. Hello, Bill from Arla Games. Are you making fun of the way I talk? I always spam my most powerful attack. I mean, it's a pretty solid strategy. Bill? Bill. Bill. It's Bill and you know it, Coco. Thanks for finally showing up. I've been stalling the stream this whole time and losing viewership and sponsorships, and basically my streaming career is over. So yeah, we haven't done anything important. We've just been doing some little tweaky things. Like right now we're just plugging some stats in for these other enemies. Thanks for waiting. No problem. Only because you asked, Coco. Only because you asked. Hopefully you learn something from today's stream that it would make it worth it. Cool. So we've plugged in those stats for the knight. Let's go do the cleric. What do we got? 150 HP, 15 MP, 10 attack, 15 defense, 10 magic attack, 15 defense, 10 agility, 15 luck. Beautiful. So, well, yeah, I guess we can get a little bit into action patterns, right? So we have some skills that we've made up. So I want to do enemy skills, right? And create and make it so that, because I could make it that the enemies are able to use the skills that your characters use, but it doesn't make sense that the knight character, well, it's not a knight enemy. I would give it a different name. Man, I keep selecting enemies that have swords, right? You know, this is the knight character, and he's obviously got a hammer, so he's not going to use a skill called, you know, big slash. That doesn't make any sense. So I want to make custom. Goodbye streaming opportunities. Didn't actually wait for me, right? I did. Like I started the stream, and we just haven't carried on with the main thing of today, which I don't actually know what it is going to be yet. I'm a bit undecided. So I want to make, yeah, custom enemy skills that are unique to the enemies. What was my original thing going to be? Yeah, I don't know what I was saying. So we've got, what, 56? How many enemies did I say we're going to have? Because we're going to make it simple, right? We're going to make it simple. Thanks, man. I'll be here all stream to make up for it. Thank you, Coco. Where are we? Why have I not written... I need to write down... Okay, so 4 enemy types for each area equals 4 areas, 16 enemy types. Right? Now, we could get 1,000. Thank you, trailer. Always good with the numbers. So 16 enemy types. Yeah, so again, some things to consider. So we're going to have 16 enemy types, and they are going to range from levels 1 to 10, which means we're going to have 160 enemies, right? Just make a Mega Bonk clone. See, I don't actually even know what Mega Bonk is yet. I've seen the... Welcome, Element Sow, by the way. Thank you for joining. I've seen that it's doing very well, but I have no idea what the game's about. 3D Vampire Survivor. Oh, nice. I love Vampire Survivor. Risk of Rain. I also love Risk of Rain. It looks so cool. Does it have multiplayer? Maybe you and I should stream it together, Coco. And maybe trailer too. We should all get on it. We'll all play together. Not yet. No, but it's leaderboard based. Oh, okay. Oh, right, because it's like a roguelite. Got to get them runs. Mega Bonk or Risk of Rain? Mega Bonk. I'm top 10 every reset right now. Bonkers. You're top 10 out of the bajillions that are playing it. We are in the presence of Mega Bonk royalty. No hacks. So yeah, so it's going to end up being 160 enemies, but the question is, with the increase of their level, you know, what is going to be the difference between a level 1 enemy and a level 10 enemy? Is it just going to be that their stats increase? Or are we going to make it as well that the higher the level they are, the more skills they have too, so they actually use more moves? This will mean... Do I get cool points? You get all the cool points. Have 1,000,000 cool points. Am I tanking the cool points economy? Potentially, but I give them to you. Depends how many levels you're going to have till cap. I believe it's a solo dev. Hopefully he can make a co-op. Well, I'm sure with all the money that's flooding in, he can, you know, either pay someone to work on the multiplayer for him or, you know, do something to make it happen. How many levels I'm going to have to cap? Well, yeah, the level cap is 10. There's only going to be 10 levels, which is why I'm saying there's 16 enemy types, but I have to create a version, like a level version of each enemy, because I'm not using plugins for the game. Def new skills every level. Then get creative. Yeah, well, to make it a bit simpler for myself, because if you're not aware, the goal of this is to create a simple RPG. Make it actually hard type shit. Yeah, it would be cool. Well, yeah. Again, we're trying to keep, reduce things, make it as simple as possible, because the goal is to get through creating this game, helping people learn about it along the way, and then actually get to the end and have a finished product. And obviously with scope creep and that kind of thing, it's going to make it more and more difficult. So what I will do is, at the moment, I have it that the levels of the enemies scale with you as you progress through the game. So there's 4 elemental temples to beat, or 3 elemental temples, and then the final sky temple. And so when you haven't beaten any temples yet, all the enemies are levels 1 through 3. When you beat one temple, they go up to 4 to 6, so on and so forth, till all the enemies are level 10 at the end of the game. So what I might do is, what do we reckon? Maybe 2 skills? 2 skills per enemy type. So, what? 2 skills per enemy type, which will equal 2 times 16, 30. Is that right? 32 skills? Is that it? Only 32 skills? Okay, so 32 skills. But with each level scale jump, maybe 1 additional or 2 additional skills. 1 additional. One additional skill per... No, don't do that. I don't want that. Plus 1 skill per temple beat, which is an additional 16 every temple. So 3 times 16, 32, 48. Me do maths. 48's an addition. So that's an additional 4. Is that an additional 48 skills? Are the enemy types going to share skills then? Well, that could be a way to reduce some of it. But then you go to times 4 it. 2 times 4. Well, wait, what? There's 16 enemy types, and each individual enemy type will start with 2 skills. Yeah, so that'd be 32, and then every temple that's beat, each of the 16 will gain 1 skill, 1 extra skill. So each temple beat, an additional 16 skills will need to be created. So 16, 32, 48 by level 10. So 32 plus 48, 32 plus 48 equals, calculator, 32 plus 48. 80 skills. So I'm going to create 80 skills. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Is that right? 32, 3, 4, 7, 8, 80. 32 plus 48, 96. Right. So 80 skills. 80 skills for enemies. And this isn't even getting into the mini bosses and the main bosses. You know, are they going to have their own custom move sets? We won't think about that for now. So I've got to potentially create 80 skills. Auto attack is a skill. Well, yeah, that's this is on top of just them using a base attack. So. Okay. So let's go 56, 57 plus 80. 80 equals 137. So we go 137. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And saying enemy skills. You ever seen Heartwood Online? No, I haven't heard of it. I'll be able to take some ideas. Yeah. What is it? Let's have a look. Heartwood Online. Heartwood Online. Cross-platform RPG. Free advertising for Heartwood. It's on Steam. RPGMaker multiplayer game. Oh, it's made with RPGMaker? That's cool. Nice. Very cool. Okay. So you can see how quickly making an RPG can balloon, right? And I thought I was keeping this relatively simple. But let's go and look at let's start with something simple. Yeah, I'm not gonna, well, I should try to have some rhyme or reason to these skills. So wait, let's map this out a little bit better. So we got the enemy skills. We've got level 1 through 3. Secret Heartwood Online lobbyist. He's one of the main developers. Level 1 through 3. What did I say? Gosh, I can never. So 32. 32 for levels 1 through 3. Excuse me. Or should I make it simpler? Should I make it a bit simpler? Should I make it that they only start with one skill? Yeah, let's make it simpler. We can always make it harder. Yeah, let's do once. Yeah, so one skill. So 32, 16 and 48 is 50, 50, 60, 64. I did develop for them for like a week and never got paid. Oh. Level 1, no skills, in my opinion. Just AA, learn the game. Boss intro to skills type beat. So... Wait, you did do development for them? And never got paid? Well, I removed my shout out to Heartwood Online. I'm like, Heartless. Jeez, pay your devs. Although, well, it depends on what you agreed on. Were they like, these need to be your deliverables, and you didn't deliver, and so they're like, well, we can't pay you. For a week for a zone that never got released because they dumped it. Ah, cut content. That's rough. Were you doing like mapping, or like what exactly were you working on? Were you doing events? Okay, so we've got 64 skills. That feels slightly more manageable. And yeah, one skill per enemy, so that's gonna make things a bit simpler. So levels 1 through 3, fifth, we're gonna map this out. So levels 1 through 3, we want 16 skills. Um, uh, where's my calculator? Am I saying 58? 58 plus 16, 74. So 74. And then next will be level 4 through 6. 4 through 6. Yeah, 4 through 6. And then, so that's 75 plus 16. 75 plus 16. 91. 91. So then next after that, level 7 through 9. 92. 92 plus 16. 108. Am I doing that right? And then that's level 10. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Beautiful. And then level 10, another 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then that would be the start of boss skills. Right, so we've mapped out, yeah, our space for our skills. This is rigid because if you want to increase the number of skills or whatever, then you've got to add them on at the bottom. Because if you have all these skills, you have them all assigned to your enemies, and then you well, let's demonstrate. So, pogo stab, right? So we've got that skill, and we've got fart knees is another skill. And we've got our enemy, the rogue, and they do the pogo stab, and they do the fart knees. Oh, I've been missing. What's been happening in the chat? Per week for a zone. No, dump the whole game. Everything for a new endgame zone. Mob design, map design, bosses. Oh wow, that's a lot. Thank you, trailer. I knew you would appreciate my top tier humor. So we've got pogo stab and fart knees, right? And we've assigned it to the rogue. So they have these skills. But then if we go, where are we? Skills. But then if we go, oh, I need to move these skills over here because I want to make room for skinny jeans and diamond thrust, right? Now, and like I'm saying, like these are skills not for the rogue. These are skills for the knight. But the problem is, now if we go back to the enemy, those skills that we assigned have now changed to skinny jeans and diamond thrust. So hopefully that demonstrates, if you're going to map your skills out like this, you got to lock in, because if you need to move stuff around or add more skills in, then you're just going to have to add it to the bottom and it's going to get messy. But you can't mess with what you've set up here if it's all mapped out. Child at heart, as we all should be. Okay. So we've got our skills. Well, I guess this is what we're working on today. Is maybe mapping out some enemy skills. Let's do, for simplicity's sake, a healing skill for our cleric type enemy. Do we want to give it a cool name? Oh, by the way, guys, with the channel points, I mean, I've set the bar pretty high for them, but you can unlock Holy Blast. Well, I want it to be a healing skill, but we could call it Holy Blast. It could be funny. It's just like you spirit bomb them, but it's healing. And we heal. Well, it's going to be a level 1 through 3 skill, so we want to make it that it heals only one character. Blast your allies. I have 2k points. Nice! Already, sweet. Well, if you hit 10k, you can cash that in to name some stuff. I need to add some more rewards because I realize I can make it that you can name a monster or an enemy. You can give them a name, and like, I will abide by, well, you know, I'd want you to keep it sensible. Thank you. Who was that? Who followed? Where did the, I need notifications. Oh, here it is. Thanks, Element. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. And yeah, you can have an NPC in the game. Hopefully the pinned message is still there. There's a Google form that you can just fill in, and you can have an NPC in the game. And I promise not to cut your NPC the way your game development was cut. Love to name an enemy. Yeah, right? That would be cool. So, well, what did I say? We're going to have 160 enemies. Technically, there's only going to be 16 enemy types with levels 1 through 10. So, gosh, so that's pretty limited. There's only 16 names you can give. But yeah, I think I put in, you can name a boss. You can name, you can like name a weapon. You can name a, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that you can name. But yeah, obviously I don't want it to be too silly. I mean, it could be silly. You know what? We'll just make it, obviously it needs to be family friendly. We, you know, we want everyone to be able to access the game, but, you know, if you want to name it Bodie McBoatface, then I think we'll let that happen. Because if you've racked up 10,000 points, that's some dedication to the stream, and I think that should be rewarded. Also, is there a way, like, Coco, do you know, is there a way that we can, like, I can give points to people, channel points, or is it only generated through watching? Because that would be cool. I would love to be able to, you know, just throw out some channel points for funsies. There's points that trailer desperately wants. All right, so level, so what are we doing? Holy Blast. But we're not, are we going to do, okay, we'll call it Holy Blast. For now. For demonstration purposes. Let's assign an icon to it. Let's give it the shinies. I believe no, we could do predictions, but that's only redistributing already existing points. Okay. All the channel points, subscribers earn more points. Oh, also that's another thing, Element. Not that I'm asking you to subscribe, but if you were to subscribe, I still have to set it up, but I will make it that you can, your NPC can also have a sub quest. You know, sub quest. See where I'm going with it. Holy Blast description: heals one enemy. So we the other day, in one of the other streams, we set up those skill types, right? So we've got our battle arts, our tricks, our kind of god powers, and then enemy skills. Again, for you could just assign it to none, but you know, for my brain, and you know, if I was to ditch this game and come back in 5 years, you know, I would be able to look at that and go, oh, these are the enemy skills, even though I've got a whole bunch of other things that tell me clearly that those are enemy skills. But it's just another way to keep things organized. So the scope, we want one ally, because the enemy is going to use it to heal their friends. Occasion, this doesn't really matter for enemy skills, so you don't really need to stress about assigning that. So the MP cost, so this is what I was talking about. If we don't want the healer enemy to spam heals all the time, you know, we want them to eventually run out, then we could assign an MP cost. So at the moment, the cleric has, where's our stats? The cleric has 15 MP, and that goes all the way up to 150. So, so this is something to consider too, right? Is with this, I mean, it's an incentive to kill the cleric first, right? So what, 15? So if I assign it 1 MP cost, then obviously they can spam Holy Blast 15 times. They can heal 15 times in battle before they stop healing. So that could be really annoying. Which, you know, again, would incentivize the player to try and attack the cleric enemy first, get it off the board, so it can't keep healing the others. But maybe we make it cost 3, so it can only heal 5 times in a battle. There is no way, well, we could set it up, but for now there is no way for the enemies to recover MP. So once those 5 heals are up, they're just going to sit there attacking. Which might not be particularly interesting. So I don't know. These are all things to consider. But let's. So we could do a HP recovery formula and make it based off of, you know, their magic stat or something. But maybe for simplicity's sake, we'll just make it recover like 15% health. Is that too much? 15% of, you know, maybe, what about 10%? Maybe we'll go 10%. 10%, yeah, let's make it a certain hit. TP gain, TP cost, we don't need to worry about any of that. I believe, can enemies gain TP and have their own invisible TP bar building up in the background, which again would factor into whether they would use skills or not? I don't know. It's a lot to consider. Let's do an animation. It's a healing thing. No, but it's a holy blast. So let's light one. Let's go look at the animations. Light one. Okay, light arrows. Not really a holy blast, is it? What about what's this one? Oh, that's a holy blast if I ever saw one. Cool. So what's that? Light 1, 2. Microphone check 1, 2. Light 1, 2. We'll just do this. That's simple. Cast, name of the skill. Cast Holy Blast. Do we want all caps? Let's be civilized. Holy Blast heals 1 enemy. Note, level 1 cleric skill. Cleric enemy skill. Right? Oh, and this isn't right. So, okay. So for each area, there is going to be a cleric, a rogue, a knight, and a mage. Um, but then there's for each area there's one of those, and then but then they're slightly altered by which temple they belong to, right? So obviously in the water temple they're going to be like a water cleric or a water, so it's maybe it won't change what they do so much, but it will change the way things look. So we actually need Holy Blast. So Holy Blast, is that going to be for our forest temple? Like you can tackle these temples in any order, right? Um but in my brain, you know, this is the most basic. You would start at the forest temple, then probably do the water temple next, and finish at the lava temple, right? If we're thinking, um, the way things progress in like a Zelda game or something. The gaming tropes tells me forest temple first. So, is the water temple going to be a maze? Yeah, should we make it the one that everyone hates because it's a water based level, a water based dungeon? They've always got to be the worst. I mean, it would probably be a lot of work, but if we could implement, some kind of, you got to raise the water level or lower the water level, but that's going outside of the scope of a simple RPG. But it would be fun to try and figure that out and make it work. So Holy Blast, so again, these are elemental temples. So this is the Earth temple, this is the Water temple, this is the Fire temple. So how can we make Holy Blast sound more earthy? Holy 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 Blast? Yeah? What do you reckon, guys? Because Holly's a leaf, but then people are gonna be like, oh, is this Christmas themed? And then they're gonna expect to see Santa in the game. Scope creep, it just keeps sneaking up. Holy, what about Holy Ground Blast? Level 1 forest, earth cleric enemy skill. Santa is the secret end boss. And I could record those sound effects. Merry Christmas. 9,999 damage. Boof. I have a candy cane. Alright, Holy Ground Blast. Our level 1 Earth Cleric enemy skill heals 10% of their allies. Cost 3 MP. They have 15 MP. They can only cast it 5 times. So we will go over to our enemies. We have, so let's change this, right? So Earth, and we'll change the names of these enemies later on. And hopefully with the power of channel points. Earth Knight, Earth Cleric. Naughty hits you with coal. Yeah. A lump of coal for you. And it actually you can get real meta with it. Well, not meta, but like it replaces all the items in your inventory with lumps of coal. That'd be cool. Cool. So we got our Earth Cleric. We've got our stats. We're not touching any of the traits yet. So we've got attack. So the way this is set up, the action patterns, you have the skill, you have the condition, and then you have what does R stand for? I don't remember what R stands for. Rating, right? So the way the rating works is it's a bit weird. Yeah. So All right. Well, yeah. Well, I'll explain it more as I set it up. So we have our attack. You have conditions, so you can make it that the enemy will only attack every first turn, and then every 3 turns after that. So the first turn, fourth turn, seventh turn, etc., etc. You can then say, oh, but what if, we create a skill that's like a desperation attack, where if they're on very low HP, you know, they're potentially one shot from dying, but they're actually more dangerous with lower health because they can use this desperation attack that does really high damage, but also misses 50% of the time, right? That off the top of my head is actually I've implemented that in one of the games I'm working on, The Pit, actually, Coco. Yeah. So, and again, you can do the same with MP. Once MP gets low, so I could actually set up a skill that regenerates MP for the enemy. Occasion name drop of the pit. Yeah. It's real sly there. Yeah, so I could make it so that when they're on 0 HP or 50 MP, 50% MP, they use this skill that allows them to regenerate their MP so that the cleric can actually still function the way the enemy does, because otherwise it's not very punishing to the player, right? If the player just waits long enough, the earth cleric will run out of heals, and then they're just attacking and are useless. And I am actually planning on creating a skill that all characters have, that allows them to regain, at the cost of TP, regain some of their MP. So I could make it that the cleric and the mage characters have that same ability as well. So there's MP, there's state, so you could make it that, and this is where you can get more interesting, right? You can make it that when the enemy is poisoned, they again have a special attack that only activates when they're poisoned. Or you could make it that they heal themselves of the poison. Inflicting status effects against them actually isn't very good because they'll always heal themselves from it. And that could be a good way to implement that for like bosses, because one thing that's really annoying about bosses usually in JRPGs is that they're actually immune to a lot of the status effects. And like, I understand that it's just like, well, you don't want to cheese the boss, but surely there's more creative ways to be like, well, do you want to give the player the power to use status effects in a meaningful way, right? Things to consider. You could even do party level. So again, this could come. Oh, this could be a way to map things out a bit easier with. Oh, actually, no, that wouldn't make sense. No, because right now I'm doing it based off of the temples that you beat raises the level, not your level increases the difficulty. Could be interesting actually, because if you somehow beat a temple and only get to level 2, then you kind of screw yourself a little bit, because then all the enemies are going to be 4 through 6. Things to consider. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. But this could be a way for you to say, oh, this normal enemy that you've fought 100 times since the beginning of the game, you're like, ah, what a boring enemy. But lo and behold, when you're level 50, they have suddenly a completely different move set. To keep it fresh and interesting and be like, whoa, did it always have this? Was I killing it too quick to see that happen? And then there is also switches that you can, if a switch is active, which you could, so this could be more like for setting up boss enemies. Yeah, you can use switches to, yeah, it's a bit more complicated, so we won't get too much into that. Anyway, so the rating system. So right now the rating is for attack is 5. It doesn't actually matter the rating at the moment because there's only one skill in here. But once we add our friend Holy Ground Blast, so if we keep that at always, got to have a low level training area where you can farm XP at a diminished rate. Well, that's the thing. The yeah, with RPGMaker, you just set the XP amount for the enemies, so you can't make it so that when you're level 10, enemies 5 levels lower than you only give 50% XP, right? It's always going to be this fixed amount. But with the way I've got the XP, it would take, so let's have a look. So at the minute, to get to level 10, you would need 10,500 XP. So let's see, the commitment you would need 10,500 divided by 3. You would have to kill 3,500 of the Earth Rogue to get to level 10, which actually, and considering that you can fight 3 of them at once, well, how long would that take? 3,500 divided by 3. It would take you 1,167 battles to farm that XP. Yeah, right? That doesn't seem like that much. But again, this is a small game. This isn't meant to be, an RPG epic. It is but a taste of an RPG. So, yeah. But anyway, so we've got the Holy Ground Blast assigned now. So we could, yeah. This has been your magnum opus, right? Has to be. Well, if I don't finish any of my other games and finish this game and release it, it will be my biggest game that I've ever released. Because all my games have been very small and short. Alright, so the rating, right? Right now, the way this is set up, they both have the condition of always, meaning no matter what, they're going to attack. The rating system, if I change this to 4, what does that say? If I change this to 4, it will be used 60% of the time. 60% of the time. Is that right though? Because then that means that the attack is only 30%, but it's higher. So it's more likely to happen. 100% of the time, 60% of the time. This is where, yeah, I still don't fully understand the rating system. Because sometimes the way I've set it up as well, my enemies will still just spam certain things. But yeah, with it being 4, it'll 60% of turns will be used using that skill. And then if it's a further point away, it'll only be used 30% of the time. 33% of the time. And if you set it to this 5 and 3, it will actually use the healing blast not very often. Not very often at all. And again, what's limiting about this is like this, and I've assigned it to the wrong character. The cleric. Yeah, so oh no. Wait, where did that? Yeah. 20% of the time works 100% of the time. Yeah. It makes more sense like as you do testing. You will kind of see, like I've done test battles where, you know, it's this distance apart and like I've gone through the whole battle without them ever using the skill. So generally so if I don't want them to use it all the time, only some of the time, then I would put it sort of one away. So, you know, you do like stronger attacks. And then, but maybe if I do it this, then they would share it 50-50. There's a 50-50 chance that we'll use, yeah, either attack or Holy Ground Blast. And then obviously if I go higher, then it would prioritize Holy Ground Blast over the attack skill. So maybe we just keep it 50-50 for the minute. And that should say Earth Cleric in there. Cool. Level 1 Earth Cleric. 50-50. So let's create a troop where we've got one rogue character or 2 rogue characters and 1 cleric to heal. All right. Let's do we'll do our Earth battle. We'll do our battle test. So in testing and in your game, if you press right, normally if you press right, you can wait. Why isn't that working? Anyway, normally you can skip a turn, you can wait. Why isn't that working? That's weird. That's right. We'll guard. We'll just guard. We'll skip our turns. Healed itself. Nice. Selfish. All right. Let's attack everybody. Ooh. So that's the thing with the conditions, with the conditions that are set at the minute. Well, with the limits of the conditions with base RPG Maker. Oh, healed for 7. Oh, that wasn't very much. Oh, because he's only got 75 HP. Right. So 10% doesn't actually heal very much. So maybe we'll change that. Maybe we'll make it 20% or 25%. Heals a quarter of their health. That would be frustrating, especially on the tankier enemies. But yeah, we can't give like intelligent AI to the cleric to say, hey, if this fellow enemy of yours is below 50% HP, prioritize healing them. Like, we can't get too complicated with it. So it's healing itself. Makes the battle go on longer. Oh, it did like no damage. Oh, because it's a cleric character too. It has high defense. So the fact that we poisoned it is actually good, because it's whittling away the health. But physical attacks aren't very strong against the cleric. Using... oh, I don't have any MP. Cool. Alright, we won. So... yeah, so you saw there... yeah, so there's... you can't get too... interesting with... yeah, with these action patterns. However, perhaps in troops. So these battles you can, and this is, you could do this for basic battles, but this is more for like creating events, for creating scripted events and things for like boss battles. You know, you can set a condition that every, you know, if... ah, see, so this is where you could get into the nitty-gritty of making the cleric have the AI that you want, you know. So I go Earth Cleric. No, when one of the rogues is below 50% HP. So this, the span means it only checks it once per battle. Yeah. Turn means every turn it will check. Is you know, Earth Rogue at 50% HP, it'll check it every turn. Or moment. What's moment? Okay, while the conditions are the same. So hey Imperial. I'm good, thanks. How are you? Thanks for coming along. Yeah, so if I set this to moment and I made it that what would I do? Force action? Forces the Earth Cleric to use their Holy Ground Blast on geez, which is it? Index. So these are the four, these are the 8 enemies that you can have. So I guess if it's assigned to index 1, I don't even know. Switch. Okay, Earth Rogue is number 1. Yeah. So that would say make the Earth Cleric, but this would do it out of turn, right? This wouldn't use up the enemy's turn. This would stop the battle and make the cleric heal the rogue, and then it would keep doing that over and over until the rogue was above 50% HP. You're working on a new game. Very cool. Yeah, I am doing well. Thank you. Yeah, it would keep healing until this condition was no longer met. So you don't use moment. Yeah, you don't use moment that often, but we could say every turn check that is 50 HP, 50 below 50% HP, and then cast Holy Ground Blast once, and then that would be it. But then, yeah, that technically doesn't take up the cleric's turn. I don't know. We're straying. We're getting into complicated stuff. So we don't need to stress about that at the moment. For now, we've given the Earth Cleric their first skill. Do we want them to use it more than they would attack? Probably. And you know, have we assigned XP? Maybe 3 XP, but 5 gold. They're worth a bit more gold. Should I do it based on... What should I base XP on? Things to consider. Anyway, we can always tweak that later. But yeah, Imperial, what's the new game you're working on? Level 1 Earth Road. Level 1 Earth Mage. Level 1 Earth Knight. Coolies. So that's one enemy. That's one enemy type out of the 16 down. Finished. Yeah, do I want to add any? Well, oh, this is something to consider. Will all my enemies have the attack element? Oh yeah, I need to change that. Save. Types. Yeah, we need to change this. We need to make it so there's only four element types. Earth, physical, earth, water, and fire. So do we make it that their attack element is always earth? And that will come into play later because we will also set up the element rate. You know, to get more interesting with our classes. So we could say that the mage, you know, already has weak defense, right? We could make it that the mage is... So with this, the higher the percentage, the more susceptible they are to receive damage from that element. And the lower it is, the less damage they take. So if I put it to 50%, then they will take half as much damage from physical attacks than they would anything else. But it's the mage, right? They're weak. So do we say 200% physical damage? But the trade-off is that their elemental resistances are much higher. You know? And if we carry this over, and the cleric, again, they're tanky, right? So, you know, they take much less. Oh, wait, not that. I want 75%. Actually, no, it's too high. 80%. They take 20% less physical damage. Their elemental rates, though, also pretty good, right? Maybe not as much. 90%. So what this means too, right, is that the basic attack of the basic attack of the Earth Cleric is Earth based, right? So that would mean that when the Earth Cleric uses their basic attack against the Cleric, it will only do 90% of its normal damage amount. And even less to the Mage. Right? But then the Rogue and the Knight, you know, they might be much more susceptible to elemental damage. Oh, okay, we want... the Rogue is kind of weak as well, though, right? Let's say 125%. And their elemental resistances are also bad. Right? We reckon? We keep that the same across the board? They're just kind of weak overall. But they're all about DPS. They've got the highest attack. This is where it gets complicated, guys. And then the Knight, right? He's an all-rounder. So takes a little bit less physical damage, but elemental rate still weak. Still weak to the elements, right? Not as weak. Which means that when the Knight gets hit by the Earth Cleric's normal attack, it actually does 110% of the normal damage. But I could make it that... No, it doesn't work because there's 4. I mean, there's 4 elements. I could make it instead that each character has a high resistance to one of the 4 elements. See, there's so many ways you can do this. So many ways, and we're just playing around with stats. But we'll leave that for now. We'll leave that as it is for now. That's fine. So, okay, what I do want to do, I actually do want to create that skill that recovers MP. But the question is, I would have to create a version of it under each skill type. Or how would I do this? Okay, let's test it out. Let's figure this out. So let's call it like concentration, right? Meditation. And it's so you can recover your MP. That's kind of meditatey. Or this, we use the book, right? Because you're a nerd trying to recover MP. Allows the user to recover MP. TP costs. It costs 10 TP. And so we're going to say that it comes under no skill type. And we're going to... Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. And the scope is just the user, because you're only going to use it on yourself. You can only use it on the battle screen. You can only, yeah, you can't use it outside of battle. Yeah, because it uses TP. TP gain 0. We don't want you to gain any TP from using it. And it's not an attack. It's a certain hit. And power up 1. Let's see what that looks like. Let's find an animation. Wait, where'd it go? Power up. Yeah, it seems pretty good. Meditation, and we want it to recover MP. Do we want it to be based on your stats? No, let's keep this simple for now. Recover MP. Let's say 50%. You regain 50% of your MP. Uses meditation. And no, we don't want to repeat twice, just repeat once. Cool. So we want everyone to be able to use this. So in our classes, level 1, meditation. We'll assign that to everybody. Now my question is, how are they going to access this skill? So let's have a look and see what happens in battle. You're right. I don't have any way to access that skill. So even though I've assigned it to the character, there's no way. So do I need to create an extra skill type? Maybe. Let's do that for now. So we'll add an extra skill type. And so these are going to be like, this is like your basic tool set. Because I might make it that you have yeah, other skills. Or maybe should I make it that the guard skill recovers MP? Maybe. What if we do that? Because the other thing I've got to think about too, right, is the menu economy. A lot of RPGs don't make guard useful enough. Yeah. I'm always playing around with what guard can do. Again, in the pit, I changed guard completely to be a move that allows you to, because, you know, you're essentially skipping your turn, but it allows you to have 2 turns on your next turn. So maybe it can recover MP. What do you think? Yeah. Well, I think I might make it that. See, because I got to think of the menu economy as well, right? So I've got, you know, these 4 commands here, and if I add another type of skill, then it will push all of this stuff down. And while, you know, some people that play might not realize that there's, you know, more in the menu, you know? And I don't know, I like to keep it simple and clean. Simple and clean. You know, and only have the 4 commands there for this. So I'm thinking, yeah, if we make it so that guard recovers MP, that could be good. So guard, will I change the name of guard? Hold me, whatever. I love Kingdom Hearts, man. Although I haven't played the 3rd one, and and I never played the one on the DS. But Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, man, that was my jam. Birth by Sleep. Is that the one on PSP? Because I did have that, but I just didn't get into it. Yeah. Dude, I loved how PSP, that was like, PSP was my first ever handheld. Love that thing. This is an underrated console. So do I want to communicate to the player that guard, I mean, I could make a tutorial battle that explains that guard can also be used to recover MP. I had, well, I started off with a black PSP, and then I upgraded to the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children version of the PSP. That was really cool. And then I sold it. I kind of regret that, but and then I got the Vita. Unfortunately, the Vita did not have enough games. Put it in the skill description. But you don't see the skill description for guard. Yeah, and I sold it at like cash converter, so I got like nothing for it as well. Such a noob. Do I want to call it something other than guard? What if it was called like prepare, or Xbox is now coming out with their handheld? Yeah, are they rest? Rest? Yeah. Rest. Do we change it to be that instead of guarding? I think I still want it. Well, it's confusing, right? Because usually in games when you're like resting or sleeping, you're technically more vulnerable to attacks. But I still want the guard state to be in place so that when you use it, you know, that you still can use it to take less damage. Charge. Charge. Charge is good. I like charge. We can keep that icon for now, I guess. So what did we say? 50% MP? That's crazy. That's crazy. Especially when you're like level 10 and just, yeah, you'd be spamming spells for days. That's right, we can balance that in the future. Charge. Defend yourself and recover MP. And then we'll actually make it that it plays that animation. Still. Skill type none, so that's fine. The user, yeah. Charges up. Okay. So we should get rid of that meditation. Duty, what's it? Oops, oops, no, no, no. No! 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 Okay, so I accidentally deleted the class setup for the cleric. I can either cancel right now and get out of it, but then all that other progress that I was making, I don't even remember what I did. No, Control Z does not work in this situation. So I can either cancel, and so that when I come back in, it will be there again, but I'll have lost what I feel like I haven't done that much, right? Oh, it's so risky, man. We gotta do it. I don't wanna have to create that again. Somebody did. Put it on the death counter. Okay. Oh. Oh. Wait. Ah. Okay. That's okay. I must have pressed apply. Okay, let's not do that again. Meditation, goodbye. 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 Okay. Whew. That was scary. A scary. Let's apply. Okay. Save. And back. Let's not reset again. So what we can do now is add that skill and say, but we want it to say to be that when MP is 0%. Yeah, when MP is 0, they will use the charge ability. And so this rating only comes into effect with, so the condition is what's checked first and then the rating. Yeah, and we can talk about more complicated setups of this stuff later, because you've obviously got numbers 1 through 9 here, but it only counts, 2 points either side of the number, right? So yeah, it can get complicated. And yeah, so let's test that out and see what that looks like. So this could take a while. Wait, why is it still saying guard? Oh, I know what to do. Alright, well, let's get rid of these other rogues first, at least. Oh, should I make it that charge uses TP still, though? Because right now it's like, it's free. And it would be interesting to make guard have a cost, right? Because normally you can just, if you want to defend, you can spam it as much as you want, because obviously nothing, the battle won't progress because you'll just be defending. The joys of development. Why isn't this working? Yeah. It even with everything that RPGMaker provides, there's still definitely moments where you're just like, I've set everything up correctly, I think. Why is this not working? And then it's like a simple setting that you've just forgotten. It's fun. All right. Uh-oh. No, don't attack. Alright, let's guard. Alright, I've been wasting our time. What I should do, right, to test this out properly is... So I want to set this priority to 9, right? So the highest priority. So that's saying that because, right, with if I leave this at 5, so it will check the condition before taking the turn, and the Earth Cleric will look at itself and say, oh, I have 0 MP. However, these other conditions for these other skills are also being met because there is no condition for these ones. It's just always. So then goes to what is the rating. They're all rating 5. So before hitting MP0, this charge skill isn't even in play. But as soon as I hit 0 MP, now all three of these skills are in the skill pool to be used in the Earth Cleric's turn. But I want it so that when it hits 0 MP, it only will cast the charge skill. So to do that, I boost the rating up to 9, right? The highest possible rating, and it's enough points away from 5. It's more than 2 points away, so it will not, these two will not even be considered to be used, right? It will only prioritize this. So next what I want to do is actually boost, let's reduce attack to 1 for now. So throughout the battle, Earth Cleric is only going to spam Holy Ground Blast, which means hopefully we can see, and you know what, for now, for playtesting purposes, these are things that you can do. We will change Holy Ground Blast to cost 15 MP, which is all the MP that the Earth Cleric has. So by changing these parameters for testing purposes, we can then go into our test battle. And we'll attack the rogues. Oh, yeah, see? So the cleric ran out of MP, used the charge on the next turn. So that's all working according to plan. We change that back to 3. We change that. So maybe I want it that they actually heal more often than they attack, because their attack isn't that strong anyway. And you know, it's a boring default thing to happen. So we really wanted to prioritize the skill that signals to the player, hey, this is what the Earth Cleric does. If you don't want this to keep happening, you need to kill them right now. Yeah. So that's, now we have one enemy set up. Oh, actually, not quite. So we have the elements wheel, right? Which is water beats fire, fire beats earth, earth beats water. And this is earth, right? So earth beats water. So earth does, what beats earth? Fire. So we want Earth Cleric to take more damage from fire-based attacks. Do we want it to be a severe weakness? 200%? Double damage? Why not? Let's make it that way for now. However, are we saying that Earth is then resistant to water? So water-based attacks ain't gonna do nothing, right? And what did we do with the mage? We had the mage skills, right? Twin fireball. Wait, did I do this wrong? No, because they get 3 spells every. Yeah, that's fine. So twin fireball. Oh, why is it earth element? Oh, see, and this is what I mean, right? This was originally set to fire, based off of the list that was here originally, which had like 11 elements, and the fire element was like number 2. But now because we've changed it all around, it's changed it here as well. So we need to change that back to fire. So the mage has the twin fireball skill, which will then be very effective against the earth cleric. So the mage really is going to be OP, right? But again, I feel like we've balanced it because they're going to get punched and they're going to cry. Although, yeah, I don't know whether I should actually make their base attack element based off of their element. Whether can I have more than one attack element? Just in cry. Yeah. Does that mean it will attack with both physical and earth? It will take both physical and earth resistances into consideration? I wonder. See, there's still so much I don't even know about RPG Maker and what is possible and what isn't. Because I don't know whether the scripting for it prioritizes only one element or whether it would say, we'll calculate both element resistances into the attack. Because with the way this is set up, if I assign an element, an attack element that isn't physical to all the enemy types, then the mage, as weak as they are, will actually take little to no damage from all enemies because they have such high elemental resistances. So I don't know. But maybe because the cleric's like a mage, well, not like a mage, but like a spellcasting type enemy. Maybe the spellcasting type enemies will have their attack element be their element, and the rogue and the knight will just be physical. Yeah, maybe we'll just do it like that. And should we make it that so they're weak to fire, resistant to water, highly resistant to water, and do we make it that they actually take no damage from earth attacks at all? Wait, can you make it minus? No. So I was like, then you could make it that it actually heals them. That would be cool. Yeah, let's do that. So that you can't be willy-nilly with your elemental skills. Oh my gosh, it's that time already. It's almost time to end the stream, guys. It's been happening. And all we've done is set up like one enemy. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But I think that's a good way to set them up. See, but that's the thing, is this gonna carry across all earth enemies? They're always gonna have the same resistances. A lot of progress today. Time flew by. Yeah, a lot of progress, but it also I haven't even created any other maps yet, guys. Like, we haven't even gotten into any mapping. We're still just setting up. And this is the thing, right? For your own RPG, you might want to start with all the maps and then get into the nitty gritty of stats and things. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's the best approach, to be honest. I mean, this is the approach that we're going with. We're getting all the boring stuff out of the way. But I feel like getting this stuff cleared is more important first, because this is the actual meat of the gameplay. Like mapping and stuff, that's kind of like the fun part. That's when you get to sort of build the world out. And obviously mapping is very important as well. And we've got to do, the cutscene events, all that kind of stuff. That is going to take a lot as well. But I think you know, making sure you have a working combat system and game first is maybe more important. But and also, you know, if you do all the fun mapping and get all that, and then you're confronted with this, you know, creating 160, and it would probably be even more, right? If because we're trying to make a small game, you know, you're confronted with creating 160 enemies. You're gonna have, yeah, you it might deter you. It might make you drop out. But you know what? I think we'll mix it up. I think next stream we'll take a break from this stuff, because that's probably a healthier approach as well, right? Is jumping between the different aspects of the game. And you know, I'm sure you guys are getting really bored of looking at this database. I think next week we'll start doing a bit of mapping. We'll try and set up our hub town. Maybe we'll do that. We'll set up the hub town so that way we can start dropping in your guys' NPCs and see them in action. So I think that sounds good. I need a break from this too. This, like, I do enjoy this, and it is fun explaining all of this, but I think it will be nice to show off you know, what else can happen in RPG Maker, that it's not just all this. Cool. So we got our Earth Cleric. Let's set up our Rogue as well. We'll see how far we can get with it. So we need an Earth-based Rogue skill. So remember, the Rogue is our DPS damage dealer. At the moment, like, I'm thinking like a poison attack, because it's the Earth, it's the forest area. That seems on brand. That's the thing too. So the Rogue also is the status effect enemy or class. So what do we reckon? Like a poison stab? Do we have any? Can anyone come up with an interesting name for a poison attack? I'll get the icon going. Description: poisons one enemy. Sting, like the singer. Toxic tickle. I like the alliteration. Perhaps we could fuse the two together. That might be the one. Toxic tickle or sting. What about toxic sting? But then we don't have the tickle. All right, toxic tickle. So I'm giving you guys the toxical. Ooh. 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 Toxical. Poison one enemy. May make them laugh. So you will never actually see this skill description. Okay? Because it's going to be an enemy skill. You only ever see these descriptions if you're looking in the menu or in the battle screen, selecting your own skills. So this is a little Easter egg for you guys. You guys watching the stream, you will know that Toxical poisons one enemy and may make them laugh. Okay, so skill type, it's an enemy skill. MP cost. The Rogue has 10 MP. So maybe we make it 2 MP. So again, like the cleric, they can only use the skill 5 times before they'll have to recharge. It affects one enemy. Always, doesn't matter. Certain hit, or is it a physical attack? It's a physical attack. So that means the evasion stat is taken into consideration as to whether this attack will hit. So we will give it a 100% success rate, but we will make the poison effect only 80%. So there is a chance that it will not poison you. There is a chance. You mean I have a chance? But we want it to do damage as well, right? And we're going to give it the earth element. So again, the mage will have a good time resisting this attack, actually. The variance, not as high. What did we do for the sick blade? We said 18 attack plus defense. That's crazy. Let's slap that in there, but let's make it times 10. Attack times 10 plus speed defense. Animation. It's gonna be boring. Oh, wait, we want like a sting kind of thing, right? So pierce effect, I think, will be effective. Let's see what it looks like. Where are we? Pierce effect. Wait, let me. Oh, now it's poisonous. Ahoy there, silver doubloons. Welcome aboard. We are nearing the end of the stream. Just a heads up. Or purple? Purple for poison? Kind of like the purple. Well, you can't really see it. Where's the purple? Purple? Purple. Classic poison color, right? Curse? Yes, and yeah, it's always going to be a struggle. The time zones. If only I didn't have a life and I could just stream all the time. Cool. So we've given it that poison one enemy. Uses toxical. It's a physical attack. Ooh, can it crit? Yes. Let's make it so it can crit. Because the rogue is all about, the rogue class is all about damage, right? Dangerous attacks. So you could, this could hurt. This could hurt. So let's go back to our enemy. We've got our earth rogue. Attack, we're going to set to 4. Then we're going to add the, where is it? Toxical. Set that to 5. And then the charge attack, MP 0%. Do we want it to prioritize charge? Yeah, sure. Why not? So you could have made it a bit more interesting and been like, well, the Earth Rogue will just attack and isn't always interested in, you know, doing that. But that's right. We'll make it that. Cool. So Earth Rogue's got Toxical. And we've got our Earth Cleric. So now, when we battle, should be a little more interesting. Use the Sick Blade on the Cleric. So the Fireball is a fire-based attack. So it's going to do double damage. And it's already a high damaging... Like, it was doing like 36... And it attacks twice, right? Because it's a twin fireball. So it was doing like 70 damage. So if we use it against this guy, he's going to be absolutely destroyed. As long as the attack doesn't miss. And then you can just attack. Oh, didn't get poisoned. That was lucky. But you are poisoned. Yep, yep. Oh, healed. Okay. Yep. Watch this. Absolutely decimated. Yeah, boy. And then... Wait. That uses 10 MP? The fireball? I need to change that. But look, we're gonna guard so we can get our MP back. This is all the stuff that we've implemented today. Look at that, we got all that MP back. Oh, Toxical. Ooh, healing. So already this is, you know, becoming a bit more interesting. So, so see, and because I haven't made up all the cleric skills yet, and it will probably be a level 2 skill. Because right now the cleric's level 1 skill is a heal, right? So the level 2 skill, you know, as it usually is with clerics, will be like an Asuna. Fortunately, I must sleep, got to wake at 5. Oh, dang. That's early. Well, thank you so much for coming, Coco. Really appreciate it. I appreciate your presence. We'll see you next time. Yeah, so I need to make it that the cleric can heal status effects. But you can't at level 1, so it's actually kind of dangerous going to... You would need to go to the shop and buy a bunch of antidotes. Let's kill the... What's a Majigger? Yeah, destroyed. Cool. 9 XP and 11 gold. So you would have to do that battle 10 times to get to level 2. I think that's pretty decent progress. But yeah, so that's what we've created so far. It's slowly coming together. You know, we're laying that groundwork, and then eventually it's going to be, yeah, we're going to have all the pieces in place, and then it's just going to be about like copying, pasting, just very repetitive, creating all the different enemies and skills and all that stuff. But yeah, it will get easier because we won't have to create everything from scratch. We'll copy previously made stuff and just tweak it. Yeah, so we'll have some streams where, yeah, I'm just going to be doing stuff like that and hopefully just chatting to you guys as I go. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for those that were lurking as well. I appreciate your presence. I hope you guys were able to learn some stuff today, and it was useful and that it made sense. So yeah, next week we're gonna steer clear of the database and start doing a bit of mapping. We're gonna start building the hub town and start dropping in some of your guys' NPCs. Silver doubloons, if you haven't already, there is, hopefully it's still there, pinned message. There's a Google form. If you fill it out, you can have an NPC in the game, and we'll drop it in next week. Which, yeah, so that'll be fun because we'll look at, you know, we had the stream where we sort of built this little world map, but now we can start getting into actual location maps, because they're obviously a bit more interesting, less zoomed out. I did zoom in on last week. It was silver doubloons, if you can believe it. Oh wait, I think I did read it actually. So thank you for doing that, Silver. Appreciate it. And yeah, so you'll get to see silver doubloons dropped in this week. But yeah, more interesting actually building the locations, and we can also get into some eventing because we're going to be making it NPCs. And so we can start looking at that, and that's a whole other thing. You know, we're talking, yeah, you know, showing text, having faces, you know, you know, dropping in dropping in the sprite, having them do things. It'll be fun. Yeah, thanks, Silver. Cool. But yeah, in terms of the rest of the week, so tomorrow I'll just be editing videos and getting Monday's stream into a YouTube video, and Thursday we're streaming some more Dragon's Dogma 2. So that'll be chill. Come along if you're interested. And then it'll be the weekend and Monday again, and we'll stream some more itch.io games. But again, thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate it so much. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Thank you, trailer. Thanks for coming. We will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.